Hey, welcome back, dear students. Thank you very much for joining me in the last episode of our tool section. And the last tool is the interactive fill tool, probably the most interesting and the most demanding tool of CorelDRAW. So before I start, let me give you the introduction of myself. My name is Hameed, and on behalf of Institute of Freelancing on YouTube, I welcome you all. And at the same time, I'm very grateful to all of participants, all of students who are actually joining me. Other than Pakistan and India is the United States. And then the most interesting figure which comes across is Iraq, and then Germany, and then UK and Canada, uh, and Australia, and then Zimbabwe and Egypt and Bangladesh and Nigeria at the end. These are the top 10 countries. Nevertheless, the 50% are from Pakistan and India. I'm very grateful to all of them and assure them that probably the kind of trainings which I'm providing, the kind of skills which I'm imparting, for sure, that will help you a lot in shaping up your future and to become a successful freelancer and having the expertise not only in CorelDRAW, but at the same time in Photoshop, as well as InDesign, as well as in the Adobe Illustrator. So let's get back to our last part of tool section, that is the interactive fill tool. So how can you operate with this? Let me select any of the object first on which you want to apply any interactive fill tool. And it has two main variants. While clicking upon this will actually gives you the options. One is the interactive fill. The second one is the mesh tool. I'm going to fill this interactive fill tool up there on the circle and the mesh fill tool on this square. So once you click on interactive fill tool, here is the active cursor is now waiting for your turn. But before I apply anything upon this, let me move on to the properties of this tool first. So as soon as you select the interactive fill tool, probably into the properties panel, you will find out there are so many interesting things which pops up. There are plenty of default fill types that are available. That includes uniform fill, linear, radial, conical, square, and patterns wise fill, as we discussed in our previous section also. So once you click on this uniform fill, probably it just fills like this, right? And further, you can click upon this and it will change the color as well as the outline of this also. Depending upon whatever your requirement is. Further, you can just go and add the black percentage into this as well as to the further colors into this, right? So that is the uniform fill. So the next is along with this is a uniform fill. After is the linear fill. Linear fill is exactly like as we discussed in our previous tool, and it gives you a kind of horizontal fill as well as to the vertical or any of the direction. Further, it allows you to change this angle from this to this manually, and then to the center point from this to maybe something like this. And it is all up to your choice. Further, you can just select the corner, select the edge, and you can change this color directly from here. Or you can also have the option into the properties panel, go to this and change the color from this to maybe any of the other colors. For example, I'm interested in this, and let me select this one, and that's my second or the last fill color, and let me go and pick up this one, and things like this, it automatically moves on. So that is how you can operate with the interactive fill tool. So the third option after this linear is the radial fill. So radial fill is in fact a circular option in which you can just simply place the center color of any and outside color to maybe what you can do is you can just go with the white option so that the edge should be absolutely white, or the other option could be that you can change this center point from this to this, and you can apply further the outside of this color should be no fill. So let me click on right click on this, so that will in fact wipe out the outline colors also. Second, let me again go and click here, and further is there are plenty of other options also. You can switch between the last fill or center fill, and if the further is the angle and the edge pad. Like for example, if you just go and change the size of the percentage, that comes to something like this. Eventually this whole circle goes white inside, and the edges would become more and more crystal clear into the white option. You can do it, by the way, manually also, and you can do like this way also, and that's another option which you can opt in this case. So that is the option with the radials one. So let me first go and undo this whole, because I am not at all interested in anything like this, and I'm going to apply is instead of this. Yeah, now let me go to the next option into the interactive fill tool, and this time I'm going for the conical option. Sorry, radial option. So radial option we already discussed, if I'm not wrong. Linear and radial we discussed. The conical is something which actually gives a corner type of shape into the center of the object. Further, you can do it something like this, from inside to the circle at any specific point. Also click here and drag. That will define the center point. And if you are interested in any of this by default shape, let me go press 0 and press enter, and that's how you can click on this option from here, and then you can apply this according to your specific area. So that will not only define black and white color, you can place the colors options also inside this. And as far as the white area is concerned, that can also be changed to this also. So that helps you out in creating your interactive fill shapes. So let's move on to square options now. Square options will actually gives you a kind of things like this. You can manually change the size of direction like this. As you see, there are two colors which I have selected. The first one, the center one, is the yellow one, which calls the end, and that's called the starting point. Starting point right now is, or the first point is this color. Let me select the white one, and now let's move on with this option, because that will actually define our center point, and this is how it will looks like. So interesting options are with this interactive fill tool, and then it has the two colors pattern also like this, and you can change the size. By the way, you can move this to the center, and then you can change the size from this corner point to maybe something like this. So it will automatically change the size of the circle and equally distribute this into this. Further, you can change the colors of this also. Maybe the first color, the front color would be green, and the background color should be yellow, and then you can resize and adjust and circulate or anything, whatever you are interested in. That is something which you can do. In between these options, there is an interesting small title options, then the medium, and then the large tile options. So if you click on the small tile options, it actually by default comes up with this option. Further, you can change again manually to any of the options and place your center point either here or maybe outside, wherever you feel that is appropriate to apply. So that's it. That's it. So you once you click on the medium tiles, that's go a little bit up, but eventually the size of this tile would be very big. So that is how it operates. Further, it has the mirror file tiles options also, and you can just click and check and uncheck, and that's how it operates. Further, it has multiple options also instead of two colors option. Fill colors pattern also. Fill color patterns also again comes up with the default options. You can, by the way, change this option from here to here, and you can comes up with your own creative patterns also. And by default, available pattern designs are actually placed inside this category, and you can choose and apply anything on this. So pretty simple bitmap patterns and the textures patterns and all thing we have already discussed, and you can apply any of the textures. Here are the samples in between sample 5. Here is the list which is available into sample default samples. Here is a complete list which is available. You can pick any of the default shape and then you can post it into the center and apply it something like this. So it's a pretty good, pretty handy tool to apply once you move to the clothings or patterns making on something related to the fashion design or interior or something like this. Eventually this would be a very helpful at that time once you apply this on the cloth templates. So that's it for the for this side. Postscripts I already discussed with you. There are multiple options inside this also. You can go and spiral and things like this. You can select and apply this on any of the object. And that's it for this tool. Let me select now this tool, and the most interesting option starts with the mesh tool. So here it is, the mesh option. Once you click on any of the object, either that is circle maybe or square maybe, you can place any type of basic colors into this. Let me select the default shape. First let me post a colors on it. Let me have this color. Now let me select the mesh fill color, mesh fill. Eventually that helps me out in first and foremost creating any of the shape into mesh form. So for example, you can just simply select the center point. Here we selected and change the color from this to this. And not only this, you can change the direction of this from this to this, and maybe any of the shape. By default, what it acts as in the mesh is that that's the ending point. Eventually, once you move to this, then the arc would be something like a very vibrant and visible arc that will resist, that will in fact stop here, and the color combinations that actually pops up something like this. So that is something from the middle side. Further, what you can do is you can add on the columns as well as the rows inside. So into the properties panel, let me go, and here we go. We are interested with the three grid size is 3, and then the this one is also 3. So you see, click here, and now I'm interested in doing something like this, and this would be of this color, and this and this probably. With the help of shift key I can select both in one go, and now I'm going to add another vibrant color that might be this, or let me go with a little bit more vibrant color, something like this. So you see, let me shift plus F2, and now you can see that eventually once you fill out that kind of colors, how beautiful this interactive mesh tool actually gives you a kind of feeling. So in the coming classes, most probably what we'll do is that we will create these kind of meshes. The example of this or the application of this tool is once we create different type of fruits or the vegetables or anything like this, this interactive fill tool will help us a lot in creating the basic shapes, and then we have once we fill out the colors, and that will gives us a kind of 3D or the more attractive look once we place the colors inside it. So that's it from the mesh tool. And further, you can select this and you can change, either you can delete any of the nodes. As you can see right now, I'm going to deleting the nodes, and here we go. The either you select this whole and delete these parts, you can select this and delete this part, and now I'm going to select these 4 corners again, and let me delete this part. And further, you can, by the way, still add on from the basics of this tool and start creating. Again, there is another shape. So whenever it comes to the corners, when it comes to the things like this, you can add upon and create something like this shape, and that will again helps you a lot in doing anything according to your desired look and feels. So that's it from this interactive fill tool. I'm pretty sure that is the more creative things that will helps you a lot in creating your creativities and new shapes and things like this. So hope to speak to you soon in coming sessions. Most probably we'll be discussing some of the important menus, and in which we have further options also other than these tools. So that is something which we'll be discussing, and eventually we will start creating our 5 minutes creative classes, and 5 to 10 creative classes that will gives you enormous amount of information that how can we apply, how can we use CorelDRAW for the graphics as well as the different purposes. That will help you a lot. So hope to speak to you soon. Up till then, take care of yourself and keep learning and keep enjoying these lectures. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.